8. Into the woods. It's been an hour since the sun was supposed to rise, Twilight said to herself. Something's wrong. I need to contact Trixie about this. Twilight got out a quill and parchment and began writing. Dear Trixie Lilamoon. Trixie had calmed down, being comforted in Thunderlane's embrace. They all wanted to comfort her, but it was Thunderlane who took action, and he was the best option for comforting her. The first thing was that Pegasus was the best option because of the comforting sensation of their wings. Rainbow Dash was ruled out because her wings were prosthetics. Flutters would have been willing, but she had trouble keeping herself serious enough to be comforting. So that results in the third and final option, Thunderlane, and he had experience in comforting his little brother. We need to stop Nightmare Moon, Files said. Glad their artificial voice box didn't portray what would have been a singing voice. If we stop Nightmare Moon and bring back Princess Celestia, Nightmare Moon's hatred and the pony's fear will go away, allowing Oculus to recover, right? A spark of hope lit up in Trixie. It was a small spark, but a spark nonetheless. But how are we going to stop her? Thunderlane asked. Nightmare Moon is a living legend, and even with all of us researching, we may not find time spent in the library to look it up. At that moment, a wisp of smoke flew into the room and flashed into a green flame before transforming to a scroll. Trixie opened up the scroll and started to read aloud. Dear Trixie Lilamoon, at the time of writing this, it has been 57 minutes since the sun was supposed to rise. I doubt if the princess is playing a prank on us, so I can only assume that something is seriously wrong. Because I was given the instruction to manage Canterlot in the princess's absence, I could not come to see you in person, and I anticipate that there will be plenty of distraught nobles who intend to come to find out what's wrong. I would like to know what is happening from your point of view. How's Oculus doing? I suspect that there are many ponies scared down there in Ponyville. I hope it's not too overwhelming for her. Your fellow protege, Twilight Sparkle. Friend of yours, I presume? Octavia asked. Yes, Trixie said simply. She knows something's bad, but she doesn't know how bad things are. Trixie pulled herself out Thunderlane's comforting embrace and grabbed a quill and parchment to reply. She kept it simple, not wanting to spend too much time unnecessarily extending details. Dear Twilight, Princess Celestia is missing. Nightmare Moon has returned. Nightmare Moon's hate plus fear of the ponies equals Oculus being poisoned and dying. We need to stop Nightmare ASAP. Trixie! Trixie hastily put the letter into her hat and magically set it on fire, turning into a blue wisp of smoke that headed out towards Canterlot. Sakura! Rainbow blurted out, catching the attention of every pony in the room. Rainbow shied away slightly. Sorry, but I was thinking. Me and Flutters have a friend who lives in the Free Forest. She might know something about what's going on. Could help. Of course! Flutters chimed in. I just love using my dad's voice and Flutters's side voice in different emotions. At the very least, maybe she would know how to help Oculus. Did you say she lives in the Free Forest? Trixie asked, earning a nod from Rainbow and Flutters. Then we need to go find her. Plus, we can't all go out there with you in that forest, Rarity said. I don't mean to sound inconsiderate of Oculus, but that forest is unnatural. The weather acts on its own. The animals are self-reliant, Octavia added. And the plants all grow, all on their own, Big Mac finished. But if you stay on the path, the dangerous stuff will stay in the way, Rainbow included. I've been through that forest with Fluttershy dozens of times to visit Sakura. The three new friends of Iko's came running out. Are you going to stop Nightmare Moon? Silver Spoon asked, waiting for a new friend evident in voice. Trixie couldn't help but smile, knowing Oculus, even as a changeling, had made friends who were worried for her. Well, somebody has to do it, Trixie said, being careful about her choice of words. Can I trust you three to look after Oculus while we're gone? The three children saluted. Yes, ma'am! They said and used it before heading back into the room with Oculus. I must decline, Rarity said. I must be here to watch my little sister after all. Then I'll come, Maud said. My knowledge of rocks may be helpful. I also have my daughter to look after, Octavia said. If you're going to face Nightmare Moon, then it's simply out of my league. I think Nightmare Moon's everybody's laying, File said. You keep an eye on Silver, sis. That way if we win, I can come back as a hero. I'm obviously coming. You need a guide after all, Flare said. What about you, Rainbow? I'm just gonna slow you all down, Rainbow said, extending her mechanical wings. But I could keep an eye on Oculus. I also have Rumble, Thunderlady said, so I had to stay here too. No, Big Mac insisted. You're wonderful. If they go into battle, your military experience will be useful. I'll watch out the Rumble for you. Big Mac and Thunderlady shook close. In a manly way, boom! Finalizing their agreement. That's wonderful. It's my responsibility to do this for Equestria, isn't it? Yup. Val took off her sunglasses, her way to invite Octavia in a hug. This was accepted. Don't worry, Octi. I know we'll come back because I would never leave you and Silver behind. Flares and Rainbow hugged each other. No words were spoken, but none were needed. Rainbow knew that Flares was far more capable than she was. Rarity hugged Maud, who stood there like a statue. Please come back safely. We may not be related by blood, but you are like a sister to me. I don't know what I'd do if you got hurt. The corners of Maud's lips turned to a soft smile. To anybody who knew Maud, they would know that she was becoming emotional. Trixie went back to the room to see Oculus. She looked at the malachite necklace he got from Carousel Jewelers and placed it around Oculus's neck. She then donned her hat and cloak and set out on a new adventure to save her daughter's life. Cue epic rock music. Twilight was pacing back and forth nervously. She just read Trixie's letter. She's usually not as wordy as Twilight in her letters, but at least she puts in the effort. So the fact that the letter was so sparse was itself concerning. Then there was the content of the letter. Princess Celestia is missing, and Nightmare Moon returned, like a Chlorian. Twilight looked up to the moon to see that the Mare of the Moon was no longer there. If that fairy tale was, in fact, true, the Nightmare Moon returned and abducted Princess Celestia for making herself known. This is something worse had happened. Then there was the overabundance of malice and fear that was poisoning Oculus. She knew Oculus wouldn't take it well, but she didn't realize it was so bad it was killing her. Then there was the "we need to stop Nightmare Moon ASAP" that was especially troubling. It meant that Trixie was planning on facing Nightmare Moon. The stories were true. Trixie didn't stand a chance, but how much did she actually knew? She said we. Twilight said to herself, that means she's not alone. Miss Bucker, a high-class voice said. Twilight turned to see Fancy Pants walking in, followed by Prince Blueblood. Fancy Pants spoke. Princess Celestia put her trust in you while she was away. But that trust was based on the assumption that everything would go as planned. We allowed it because the princess endured her royal duties were taken care of, but they were never given legal authority to hold that position any unknown. There's a law set in place and not even Auntie can overturn, Prince Blueblood said, stepping forward with an air of authority. A pony in possession of royalty has the authority to choose an heir, even if that heir is not by blood. However, short of retirement or a permanent leave of absence, that heir cannot take the throne. Once a royal leaves the throne, they cannot retake it. However, in the case of incapacitation or temporary leave of absence, there are agents who can temporarily take on a ruling position. The Regency Act requires 2 or more reasons to take that rule that the authority cannot fulfill. Myself and Fancy Pants are 2 such reasons, but because of the decision Auntie Celestia made, we are extending the rule of regent to you as the interim regent. This is because proper paperwork to make you an official regent has not been made. I presume this decision is based on the assumption still a chance that Celestia isn't gone for good? Twilight asked. It's based on the lack of confirmation one way or the other, Fancy Pants replied. As Prince Blueblood said, you will put to the rulership role, and Princess Celestia return, she will be unable to retake the throne. Twilight nodded understanding. Well then, we can finalize any paperwork after all this is calmed down, Twilight said authoritatively. For now, we don't have much of another choice than to put our trust in Trixie and the friends she made in Ponyville. Twilight's words hid the fact she wasn't sure that she was ready to take on a permanent leadership role yet. So she hoped that Celestia was still okay and Trixie could save her. You know, another thing I've always come to love about these alternate reality fics is these small little twists and turns that some of the authors can actually put on what we know is about to happen. For instance, I really did not know who the six were that were going to follow Trixie. I did not read the summary. I did not read the introduction because I wanted to be surprised. So I really did think Rarity was a member of the team because, hey, we met her. But putting in some of the other members and some of the other ponies we have met does actually give us a chance to explore and also leaves us a bit surprised. Again, one thing that the first two parts did so well was give us the base characters so we could automatically go in, know who they are, and come in completely ready to be surprised at what they could do. We knew Fluttershy was kind. We knew Applejack was this rough and tumble pony. We knew Rainbow Dash was basically Sonic. We knew Pinkie Pie was insane. And we knew Rarity was classy. But what I also love is that it did show how these characters were determined to be brave and be heroic. Twilight saw a problem. She knew there was something up and was ready to go. What I also love is that these girls, really, when you get down to it, did this both because they had met Twilight and started to see her as maybe even a friend, but also because they knew something was up and decided, hey, might as well go. Somebody has to do something. And that, my friends, is the mark of a true hero. And this is what it is. A good hero story. A good hero's journey within a good fantasy tale. Sometimes that's all you need. The 5 ponies had entered the Everfree Forest, led by Fluttershy and Thunderlane. It wasn't even 5 minutes before Trixie and Vile let their horns to see where they were going. Being the middle of the night, distance to the Everfree Forest meant how far they could see was severely restricted. I love the night and all, but I can't believe the Everfree Forest is this dark, Vile said. It's so dark I can't even see my own hoof in front of my face, even when my horn is lit. Then perhaps this will help, Trixie said, before lighting up her horn to levitate Vile's eyeglasses off her eyes. Oh wow, that's much better, Vile said before laughing sheepishly. In my defense, it was still pretty dark in there. Vile then took a look of both worry and determination on Trixie's face, and realized that perhaps now wasn't the time to get snarky. She then began to visit nervously with her voice sympathizer. Although most of the dangers to avoid the main path in the Everfree Forest, that doesn't mean there was no dangers to be found. Okay, class! Time for some bets! And I know Changeling Cocoon is listening to this, and my lord, you are not allowed to put any bets on who this is. You wrote the thing. Alright. So, here are my theories. Trixie's magic, obviously. Fluttershy's gotta be laughter because she's about as insane as Pinkie Pie. Oh, is this my second time being laughter? I'm going to guess Maud is going to be honesty. Vinyl's gonna be loyalty. And maybe Thunderlane's kindness. There's generosity. Guess we'll just gonna have to see. This was still rare since they were deep enough for the wildlife to start disregarding the existence of the main path. A large lion-like creature with bat wings and a scorpion tail appeared on the path. A manticore had appeared and looked angry. Other than the pigsty, there was no way the ponies were going to outrun a manticore. At best, they could split up, but only go so far after one of them. But that would require sacrificing one of them to at least stay and fight. But the chances are that they would escape a fight without serious injuries were minuscule. But at least together, you'll stand a chance. Every pony stand back! The group was surprised to see Flare step forward to face this beast on her own. I can handle this. I'm coming with you, Thunderlane said. I have military experience, I can. Flare's turned and glared at Thunderlane. I said every pony stand back, Fluttershy insisted, making Thunderlane wince in fear. I said I could handle this. Yes, ma'am, Thunderlane whimpered as he stepped back. Fluttershy turned her attention to the Manticore, who lifted his paw, ready to swipe down on her and cut her to ribbons. Before she could, Fluttershy poked where the shoulder was, causing the Manticore to wince and... Was that a laugh? Final asked about the sound the Manticore made. Fluttershy then continued. This time using your feathered wings to tickle the beast. The dangerous wild animal was ticklish! Quite a eventful way of doing the laughter test, but I'll take it. The pony's jaws dropped at this. The Manticore then rolled on its back in laughter, revealing its paws to the Pegasus. Saw a large thorn in the second one of his paw. In a quick action, she grabbed the thorn in her mouth and pulled it out. The Manticore roared out in pain, but Flutters quickly returned to the tickling. Finally, Flutters released the Manticore. The beast then got up growling at... No, it wasn't growling. It was purring. You're just a little kitten. Yes, you are, Flutters said in baby talk. The Manticore then walked away, now content. You know, I know the thorn in the lion's paw is a typical trope, but it works. How did you know the Manticore was ticklish? Thunderlane asked. And how did you know it had a thorn in its paw? Violet claimed. Most creatures are ticklish somewhere. However, it's not always easy to get to the ticklish spot. Creatures that have natural armor, for example, will have their ticklish spots protected under their armor, Fluttershy explained. As for the thorn, I didn't know about that, but Manticores usually avoid ponies. They only become aggressive like that when their territory is invaded or injured. And since the Manticore's territory is nowhere near the main path, there must have been an injury involved. So the best option was just to do it the best way I know how. When I saw the thorn, I removed it. And the best way you knew how to subdue the savage beast was to tickle it? Trixie asked. Everyone needs a good laugh now and then, Flutters saying matter-of-factly, and that includes wild animals. Meanwhile, Nightmare Moon had been observing the group ever since they entered the forest. After all, this group of ponies had dared to defy her. It's not like they would actually be able to do anything against her. Well, it was a possible offense nonetheless. That when they came across the Manticore, Nightmare Moon didn't even think she needed to lift a hook to stop them. But then the impossible occurred. Did that mechanical Pegasus just tickle that Manticore into submission? Nightmare Moon exclaimed in astonishment. Perhaps even beasts like Manticores have grown soft in 1,000 years. I suppose I will have to take things into my own hands. In case nobody's figured it out after all these years, I love voicing Nightmare Moon! The 5 ponies were led to a tree, or rather it was a hut, carved into the trunk of a tree. It's kind of like Golden Oak's library back in Ponyville, Vinyl said. A building carved in a tree. I didn't know you were the type who knew what a library was, Thunderlane snarled. Ha ha ha, very funny. Vinyl deadpanned. Trixie had seen the Golden Oaks Library during their time in Ponyville. Well, that was more Twilight saying. But where that building looked warm and inviting, this hut looked more mysterious. The man suggested that the owner was Sabriken, and the poster bottle suggested that this was a poster maker. Okay. Now, was this on purpose, my lord, or was this a genuine joke you decided to mess with, just to mess with a potential live reader? Because I had this strange feeling you've heard how I've had problems saying hypocrisy. I decided to put that there just to mess with me! Just to mess with my own pronunciation problems. Pronunciation problems? Trixie doesn't know what you mean. Oh, ha! Ha ha! I'm laughing it up, Trix. Flutter stepped up and knocked on the door. Sakura, are you home? she called out. After a few moments, the door opened to reveal a figure with black and white stripes, a mohawk, and a glyph mark rather than a cutie mark. This Sakura was clearly not a pony, but a zebra. Flutters, I didn't expect you to see you so soon, Sakura said. Does this have to do with the return of Nightmare Moon?
Yes, it does, Fires confirmed. We're hoping you can help us.
I believe I can help, but why come to me? Sakura asked. The knowledge you seek is in the local library.
Because we don't have time to spend searching through the library for answers.
Trixie stepped forward.
My adopted daughter is a changeling, and the combined fear and hatred that she has experienced is killing her. Time is not on our side.
A changeling, you say? Now I see, Sakura said, motioning for the group to follow. Please, if you will, come follow me.
You know,
I have to wonder, what would the show be like if we went with the original plan and made Sakura this little special pony that would give advice? Probably be freaking cool. The group follows Sakura into the hut. Sakura did mostly for the others to stick around the cauldron that's there in the room, where Sakura began to speak. Nightmare Moon's tale is a sad one indeed, but it doesn't excuse where her actions will lead, Sakura began. Boys at green desks began taking seats as Sakura told the story. The story begins with the princesses of the moon and sun, and how the night begins when the ponies of the day are done. Princess Luna worked so hard on the night sky, but how the ponies slept through that beauty made her want to cry. The jealousy of her sister began to corrupt the grind, until finally her thoughts began to twist her mind. After years of this, the moon of the princess finally broke. Princess Luna was no more when Nightmare Moon first spoke. Refusing to lower the moon, her goal was eternal night. And when Princess Celestia realized this, the only option was to fight. The battle raged on between the moon and sun. With her newfound power, it seemed that Nightmare Moon had won. But there was one last hope that Celestia could see, and it was to use the elements of harmony. She wielded the 6 elements, and ultimately won the day, but a connection to the elements dissolved after sending her sister away. A few thousand years have passed since the day you fell sinister, and the elements waited, still in the castle of 2 sisters. When all hope in Equestria sees the most thin, that is where the elements wait within. Honesty, kindness, loyalty, laughter, and generosity are needed for a happily ever after. When those 5 find their balance, it is the trick to revealing the 6th element, the element of magic. The 6 elements combined will produce the rainbow of light, the final weapon that will end eternal night. Based on what we saw earlier, I think we know who's connected to the element of laughter, Final said.
Really? Huh.
Fires asked. It's hard to tell if she was making a sarcastic joke, or if she was honestly that absent-minded. But I did get a laugh from everyone in the room, even Sakura.
How do we get to the castle of the 2 sisters?
Trixie asked straightforwardly. The way to the castle requires leaving the main road, Sakura said. I will lead you to lessen the load. I can't allow that, Thunderlane said. I can't understand you want to help, but I can't allow anybody else to put themselves in danger. I appreciate that you care for my safety, but my exclusion will make this easier on you than on me, Sakura countered, not taking no for an answer. For the inexperienced, the way would be hard, but not for me. The Everfree is my backyard. If you're sure about that, then I suppose we couldn't use all the help we could get, Thunderlane admitted. Sakura went into what was likely her bedroom and grabbed identical cloaks. These cloaks do more than keep you warm. They'll help protect your form, Sakura said. Don't mind the smell of the fabric. It wards off Everfree beasts as a neat trick. The ponies, of course, had to sniff the cloaks. Though the smell wasn't exceptionally bad, it was potent. But he knows the smell only seemed to be on the outside. The inside seemed to be protected from the smell. It likely wouldn't block the outside smell completely, but considering the smell wasn't that bad, being significantly less it would be very helpful. When they put them on, the material was a bit scratchy. But if it did, as Sakura said, that would be a tray about off. And Trixie had the benefit of hiving her own cloak to act as an inner lining. And there was a surprising freedom of movement. However, it became clear inside the group that the cloaks didn't have wings in mind with their design. And they did little to hide the unicorn's horns, but those were minor issues. Now, the group of 6 were off to the castle of the two sisters.